Good morning and welcome to the Tollcross International Swimming Centre here in Glasgow in Scotland in the UK. It's day 3 heats of the 2015 IPC World Swimming Championships. That's the schedule of events that we have for you this morning. I'm joined this morning by Charlotte Henshaw, fresh from her silver medal performance last night in the 100 breaststroke. Morning, Charlotte.
Good morning, Paul.
Well, get the benefit of Charlotte's knowledge as we go through all these heats events this morning. A lot to look forward to. Again, a range of different events, a range of different classifications, right through the whole spectrum of IPC swimming classes as we finish this morning's heats. The athletes are coming out for the first race, which is an additional event on your programme. It is the men's 50 metres freestyle S4 classification. Well, there was a little bit of a controversial final last night in this one, in the men's S4, because Richard Uribe from Spain actually was victim of an equipment malfunction. He is a swimmer with cerebral palsy. He is also deaf, Richard Uribe, and he relies on the strobe, which is at the side of each of the lanes, for him to start. And unfortunately for Richard Uribe, the strobe did not perform its function last night, so all of the athletes were given a chance to re-swim the 50 metres freestyle. Now, only 3 athletes have chosen to take this re-swim, and what that means is that the times for the other swimmers from last night actually stand. But the swimmers here swimming this morning, their times from this re-swim will stand. So, as it stood last night, Mustafayev took the gold in 38.17, Jogi Song the silver, 38.42, and Smetanine from France the bronze, 39.60. These 3 athletes here taking the start will be trying to force their way into the medal positions. That is a better start for Richard Uribe there, the Spaniard. They are swimming in the lanes that they would have swum in the finals last night. Uribe away well, Charlotte.
He's making a good start, strong first 25. Obviously, that malfunction last night doesn't seem to have affected him too much, which is great. He's looking really strong down this 50.
Well, Gustavo Sanchez Martinez, he may have been a man who tried to force his way into the medal positions to get in those medals. 39.60 is the target. I'm not sure they're going to make it. It's going to be very close though, just outside there for Gustavo Sanchez Martinez. 40.68, that is slightly slower than he went last night. It is faster for Uribe, 42.16, and Jan Povisil from the Czech Republic, again, he was slightly slower in 43.53. So it makes no difference to the medal positions that re-swim, but they have been given the opportunity to re-swim because of the equipment malfunction. That's important, isn't it, Charlotte?
It is, and it's always difficult to try and replicate an evening swim in the morning. You know, they're swimming it first thing this morning, so that's a different thing to contend with. And yeah, obviously doesn't make a difference to the medals, but nice that they got another chance to swim it.
You ever seen that before, Charlotte?
Once before.
Here's the men's 100 backstroke S11, heat number 1. We're down to the schedule programme now. This is the S11 class, swimmers with no vision. They'll all be wearing blacked out goggles. There's Viktor Smirnov, experienced man, 14 Paralympic Games medalist to his name so far. He won 5 golds in Athens in 2004. That was his finest hour, Viktor Smirnov. There's Makowski from Poland in line 5. There are just 9 swimmers from the first 2 heats here, so they only have to lose 1 to progress to the final. Full lineup: Shmurka from Czech Republic in 3, Smirnov in 4 from Ukraine, Makowski from Poland in 5, and Divilaitis from Lithuania in 6. S11 class, Charlotte, those with no vision at all.
I love watching the S11 events. I find it extremely impressive, and obviously you can see that they're kind of all gravitating towards the lane rope to try and keep themselves as straight as possible, and using the tappers at the end of the lane to signal where the end of the pool is. And I love watching their events. I think it's extremely impressive.
Well, there's the tappers going over. It must be difficult, Charlotte, on backstroke, because it's quite easy on freestyle and breaststroke, I would imagine, for the head out of the water, a good target to hit there, but on backstroke, the arm's got to be causing a problem.
Absolutely causing a problem, but no problems there. They're all very experienced with this, though. Hours and hours of practice, so it's down for it when they're on the race.
It's a fairly tight contest here. Viktor Smirnov looks like he's going to make sure of this one. His entry time of 1:10. Not going to be as fast as that here, and the tappers here just almost in his midriff there, Viktor Smirnov.
Yeah, it looked a good strong morning swim there, actually. Very, very controlled. Hopefully he got more tonight. Should he progress through?
Well, we might not get a confirmed result, because swimmers with wearing these blacked out goggles have to have the goggles checked at the end. There's Miroslav Shmurka, and he goes through in 1:15.83. Should be enough for him to make the final. Divilaitis from Lithuania was 4th in that heat, 1:22.39. Viktor Smirnov there, just hugging the lane ropes. You don't want to get caught on these lane ropes, do you?
That's always a risk, but they seem to be doing pretty well there. And a good, strong finish on a full stretch is what we like to see on backstroke.
And there's Smirnov, 1:12.96, ahead of Makowski and ahead of Shmurka. The men's 100 backstroke S11, the second heat. There's Zalewski, gold medalist in the Paralympic Games, also in the World Championship and in the European Championships in this event. And there's Maschenko, his Ukrainian teammate. See these swimmers now employing these new backstroke starting devices, Charlotte.
Yep, not something I've got tremendous experience with, being a breaststroker, but it's good to see that they're starting to make an appearance here, and obviously it can help to give them that bit of lift on the backstroke start, which we haven't usually had. So it's a new bit of technology, but it seems to be doing wonders for the backstroke start and giving them a real sort of sharp entry into the water, which is great. Gives them that extra bit of drive.
I always found that starting with one leg, it was always, if your one leg kind of went away from you on the wall, that was you sunk, really. So I suppose the leg amputees, the single leg amputees, certainly have a real advantage on that.
Certainly do, and you know, they can really make the most of the power that they have in the leg that they do have. So it's great to have that extra bit of help and to kind of get them as, you know, quick off the wall as they can, really.
Have you tried the devices then?
I haven't.
As a double leg amputee might be a little bit difficult for you to do.
I'm not sure it would be safe for me to try.
The likes of Jessica Long, be interested to see what she does.
Absolutely.
There is swimmers real height in the water now, using that new starting device there. And that was Sergio Zayas from Argentina. Maschenko has made a good start. Zalewski was the last one up, and Henry Herbst from South Africa in lane number 3, going well in the green cap.
He's really taken out this first half of the race and keeping a good straight rate, which is good from morning swim, nice and controlled.
And up to the turn now, very important turn for these ones. It can all go very wrong. We've seen that at these championships already this week. We've had a few mishaps. Bradley Schneider yesterday from the USA lost a lot of ground on the 400 freestyle in that turn. Zalewski struggling on the lane ropes, like going a little bit to the left there.
Yeah, that's always the danger, but seems to have straightened himself out now and is making a real push during this coming up to the last 15 metres.
There is Zalewski stretching away now, looking comfortable. It's going to be just about the same time as Viktor Smirnov in that first heat, and he's 2/100 short of Viktor Smirnov's time, so that promises to be a close contest in the final there. Zalewski will take that one, Paralympic champion, comfortably in first position ahead of Herbst of South Africa and Maschenko of Ukraine. Just looking at the results there that we have, it could be an African record for Henry Herbst there, so nice performance there early morning for the South African swimmer. There's the start. Maschenko got up pretty well. There's Zalewski just veering to the left there. You want to try and avoid that in the final this evening, but he did finish relatively well there.
Yeah, and again, that full stroke on the stretch, which is essential on a backstroke race.
The 100 backstroke S11, heat number 1 for women. So again, a feature of these championships already, Charlotte, has been the youngsters coming through. Daniela Schulte, gold medalist last night in the 400 freestyle. She'll be the favourite for this heat, but right next to her in lane number 5 is 14-year-old Elizabeth Egel from Estonia, another teenager coming through, Charlotte.
I know, it's happening more often, and it's great to have that depth in a range of classifications. We want, that to keep pushing on and to keep progressing, and the youngsters is the way to do that. But it is a bit of a fright when you see the start sheet and the age, but it's great to see youngsters coming through.
Of course, last night, I hate to bring it up,
Yeah.
silver medal behind 13-year-old
Tiffany
Thomas-Kane.
Yep.
Did you know much about her when you came into the event?
Saw her on the rankings, but youngsters always have that ability to kind of knock off a lot of time, so it'll be interesting to see what Elizabeth can do in this race here.
Really high on the wall there, Elizabeth Egel, using that backstroke device to great effect, but she seems to have just gone on the lane ropes there. The pink cap of Elizabeth Egel just struggling slightly. She's managed to get off the lane ropes now and a little bit more central. Daniela Schulte is a great exponent of being able to stay straight on the lane ropes. In that 400 freestyle last night, she was dead in the middle of the lane almost the entire way of that 400.
And that will always help. I mean, just there, Elizabeth Egel was kind of zigzagging a little bit up there in that last 15 metres, and that will cost her time. So it's great that Danielle can kind of keep on that straight line. It will save her a lot of time and energy as she comes down into this last 50.
Chikako Ono from Japan. Looks like she is in second position at the moment. Elizabeth Egel, the 14-year-old, struggling now. It's the top 8 times from the 2 heats that will progress to the final, so you'd be looking probably, Charlotte, top 3. You would think you'd be pretty safe for that one.
You would think so, and it looks like she's got a good race on for the touch into third, so it'd be interesting to see if she can just pull it together in this last 5 metres or so.
Well, Danielle Schulte takes it, 121.95. In second place it was, it looks like Ravellini gets in second position. I'm not sure what happened to Chikako Ono at the end there. It looked like she was pretty clear in second. In fact, yeah, the times just sorting themselves out here on the scoreboard here at the venue. It was Chikako Ono in second position, Rabellini in third, and Elizabeth Egel in fourth position. So Elizabeth Egel will be keeping tabs on this second heat to see if 129.75 is enough for her to progress to the final. Daniela Schulte, well, coming into the turn there, it's a pretty good turn from Daniela Schulte. She's been around for a number of years. First Paralympic Games in 1996 in Atlanta.
A bit before my time.
Bathed in the Glasgow sunshine. How often can you say that?
Not too often, but it's a beautiful day today. Beautiful day.
Heat 2 of the women's 100 backstroke S11 is next into the pool. Well, just waiting for the official results here. And the blacked out goggles are being checked here. Looks like we might have a result from the men's 100 backstroke S11. Zalewski confirmed in first position after that heat, but he is second into the final this evening. 2 100s behind Victor Smirnov. Henry Herbst, the African record, is third fastest into that final. The S11 second heat into the water. Mary Fisher goes for New Zealand. She is the reigning world champion, gold medalist from Montreal in 2013. We were at those world championships, Charlotte. How does this one compare to the Montreal event?
Far surpasses it. I think it was, this has been a brilliant championship so far. Montreal was great, but there's something special about this pool, and it's great to be back here.
Of course, you studied in Scotland for a while, didn't you? How many years? 2, 3 years?
4 years.
4 years?
Stirling University. So I was an honorary Scot for 4 years. So it's always nice to come back up here.
I see you picked up the accent as well.
I did when I was here. Little twang.
I bet your mates when you went home said, "Oh, you're speaking Scottish."
They did. Yeah. They did.
Mary Fisher is leading at the moment. A good turn that was, Mary Fisher. That makes all the difference. Good starts, good turns.
Well, at the start she was super high out of the water using that ledge, and again, those essential skills to start the turn can make all the difference on a 100-metre race, and she's really using them to great effect here, giving her a good lead against the Ukrainian in lane 5.
Podobna just easing back now into third. Mary Fisher's entry time, 118.94. Not too far away from the world record held by Akiyama of Japan. Not going to go this morning, but maybe a chance for this evening if Mary Fisher can drop a couple of seconds there. That world record may be under threat. So Mary Fisher takes that one. Podobna in second position for Ukraine, and Stephanie Duard in third place for France. And that should be qualification for these 3 swimmers. I think, just looking at the summary there, Liku Z may also be into the final. We'll wait for confirmation of that, of course. Mary Fisher, well, 5 gold she got in the World Championships in Montreal. The New Zealand team were absolutely fantastic then.
They were, and they've got some really strong swimmers and a great depth of a team. So they've been swimming great here, and it's great to see that Mary was strong, and that looked a pretty controlled morning swim to me. I think she's probably got more in the tank tonight.
Just hugging that lane rope there. It's been really difficult for these totally blind swimmers. Stay straight there, but Mary Fisher, there they are, checking those big NZ all over the goggles there. A nod of the head from the official. Mary Fisher happy with her morning's work. Having a chat with her coach there. So we're moving on to more distance events here to get these heats started. We do have confirmation of heat 1 in the women's 100 backstroke S11. Daniela Schulte takes that one in 1:21.95. Move on to the men's 400 freestyle S7. There is only one heat of this 400 freestyle event. Well, there's Andrei Gladkov, Russian. He will be favourite for this one. World record held by Joseph Craig of Great Britain. That was set back in Montreal. I do remember that race that Gladkov and Joseph Craig had. It went right down to the finish, and Joseph Craig was the fastest man at the end. There was a real tussle between those two. There's Bjornstad of Norway. Outside lane, Carlos Serrano Cerrati. What a night he had yesterday, breaking the world record in the breaststroke. We'll see how he goes in the outside lane. Gladkov, though, going from the water, almost everyone else going from the dive, Charlotte.
Yeah, it's unusual to see that, but he's certainly got a great stroke there, and he's using that long stroke to kind of pull back that distance that he lost on the water start, and he's right up there in the race now.
It's an unusual one, this one, because there is only one heat, and there were 10 swimmers in this one. Of course, they have to go back down to 8 for the final. We don't have a swimmer in lane number 6, Tobias Pollop, so these 9 swimmers just got to lose one person. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. I mean, they don't really have to expend the energy, but do you go try and get a good lane in the final? Do you just take it as easy as you can? What would be your tactics here?
Well, I think my experience with the 400 is quite limited, but from what I can imagine, it's quite a tactical race anyway. And so, do you want to expend all your energy in the morning when you only have to lose one swimmer? Is it just to put in a decent heat performance, get a decent lane draw in the final, and then save some in the tank for later? And it will come down to how they want to race the race towards the last 200, last 150. Do they save some in the tank, or do they keep going at the pace that they want to? Be interesting to see how they want to play it.
Well, we saw last night in the women's 100 breaststroke in the SB8 class that the world record holder Vladikina really took it easy in the heats, and she was in an outside lane, kind of away from danger, if you like. Swimmers in the middle, and that kind of worked to her advantage, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for each swimmer. Some people like to play tactics, some people like to go at it from the gun, and obviously last night Vladikina was using that tactical mind in the morning to execute the final how she wanted to, and it was an interesting race, to be sure.
Well, Gladkov is still leading here. Bjornstad in second position. These ones going ahead of the field at the moment. Only got to lose one swimmer, remember. So they are just stroking this one out. Remember, send us in your tweets at IPC Swimming, hashtag Glasgow 2015. I'll get it right today.
Yes.
Charlotte's got her Twitter ready.
I have.
Any messages so far, Charlotte?
Let me find some. Caught me off guard.
Oh,
sorry.
Just Norwegian just coming up alongside Gladkov here. looking pretty relaxed, the two of them at the front of the field. They know they've got this one sewn up so far. Could be a nice tussle in the final. Like IPC Swimming on Facebook if you want to get the latest news. Also go to Glasgow2015.com. And they'll give you messages of support for your athletes here. Hashtag Glasgow2015 at IPC Swimming is the Twitter address. Bjornstad's taking the lead now by about a second here ahead of Gladkov. Lots of Twitter messages from Charlotte Henshaw last night, congratulating you on your swim and your 2 European records in the same day. I mean, you couldn't do much more, could you, last night?
No, I left everything down there in that pool last night, so I was very happy, and still gives me a target to aim for next year, which is great.
Came in, was it 1:38, the European record just a couple of weeks ago?
Yep.
Reduced that to 1:37, and then low 1:37 in the heat, and then 1:36 in the heat.
Yep, and all of them in this pool, so there must be something in this water up here.
Maybe we should have the Paralympics next year right here.
We should.
So cross.
Who do we talk to about that?
IPC are right to our left here. Make a bit right now. Well, Gladkov just stretching it out slightly, just kind of showing his authority to Bjornstad of Norway. And there is Gladkov. That was fairly relaxed. Swim there for Andrei Gladkov, touching in 5:02.8. And considering he's capable of going somewhere towards the 4:40, it's a pretty relaxed swim from both of these swimmers here. That is Andrei Gladkov. That is Bjornstad. They are in 4 and 5. It wasn't Cabinet Saya that took that one there. I'm not sure about the time. The times of not really registered for the leading 2 swimmers there, but that's them coming up on the scoreboard here in the venue now. But Gladkov they took it easy, didn't they?
They did. They looked like they were having a long, easy morning swim, kind of testing the waters with each other, and that promises to be a really great final tonight with those 2.
Pretty good, pretty relaxed there, Gladkov. Not even breathing very heavily at all. He is the kind of class of this field, you would say. Bjornstad took silver behind the Russian at the European Championships last year. Bronze medalist at those Europeans was also there. To catch up on the result of the women's 100 backstroke S11, Mary Fisher confirmed in first position, Badovna in second position. Daniela Schulte progresses to the final behind the New Zealander. The 100 breaststroke for men, SB9, heat number 1. This is more of your territory, Charlotte, the breaststroke.
It is. And that looks like a great start there. It's beautiful to see breaststroke swim well, a nice long stroke, and that's beautiful there.
That is Boltotsev from Russia. He is the world record holder, 104.02, set that in London in 2012 when he took the gold medal at the Paralympic Games. He is challenged by Luganenko, his Russian teammate. Just alongside the 2 Russians, just stretching away, looking very good. This SB9 class extremely high quality in recent years. World record has come down over the last decade substantially.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. We like to see the records go, and especially long-standing ones, we like to see the progression, and it's great that there's that competition there, and they look like they're really pushing each other to a good heat swim here.
It's going to be Glasgow that takes it, 109.2 there, 109.29. Poltasev 109.86. They are capable of going a lot faster here. It's Lin Furong from China in third position, and Van Heerden from South Africa in fourth place there. We'll be looking to progress to the final, but there are some big names in the second heat to contend with. There's Lin Furong, the silver medalist in the Paralympic Games in 2008. Here's a start. Poltasev got a good start, but Buganayko pushed through at the end. He looked pretty strong there, and a good finish.
Very good finish. You want to finish on a full stroke in breaststroke, and get that full extension into the time pad, and he did a great job there.
Buganayko takes that first heat of the men's 100 breaststroke SB9. Poltasev takes second position, 109.86, and Lin Furong the third position, 112.58 for Van Heerden. That could be important, getting in ahead of Van Zenko by 9/100ths for fourth and fifth. So we've got a few colourful fans in here. They'll see themselves on the big screen in the venue. And I'm not sure what one of them does. The other one, oh, there she goes. She's realised now that she's on.
There we go.
I wonder who they're supporting, Charlotte.
Oh, I wonder. The Dutch are always great. They always have great support everywhere we go.
And who's this? Green and yellow. I wonder. Is it the Irish? Or is it? Maybe not. Ellen Keane's mum and dad's got to be here somewhere for the Irish.
Oh, we know that supporting group. That's for Mr. Andrew Mullen, the army of fans he has there.
Brilliant, the local boy. Scott Quinn's mum there in the middle as well, with the blue and white top on there. Scott Quinn had a great swim the other day. There's Andrew Mullen. Glasgow's own Andrew Mullen. That's good, isn't it?
It is.
Great support.
It's great to have everybody here supporting. It really made a difference last night during that final for me, and I'm sure it'll make a difference to the guys who are racing here this morning.
Scott Quinn had a great fan club. There's a great picture of the Warrender Bath Club the other night, but all lined up with their T-shirts on.
The Flying Scotsman.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, someone's embarrassed. There's Hannah Russell. Yeah, family there. Loving it. Hannah Russell, big day for her today.
Big day for her today. Great chance in that 100 backstroke.
100 breaststroke SB9, heat 2. There is the starting lineup. Just running a little bit ahead of schedule, Charlotte. That's why we had to wait for that race to come. Very important for the swimmers to start on time. You really don't want to be told that you're going to go 5 minutes early, do you?
No, not at all. Everything's down to the wire. Everything's timed to perfection. Warm-up, preparation in the call room, and it really is down to the minute. So you don't want to be racing any earlier than you've planned to. So it's good that they're kind of holding fire and making sure that everyone can stay on timeline.
Kevin Paul there in the centre lane, but there is Batulaga from Mongolia, the only man representing Mongolia here at these World Championships. We have seen a number of countries, a number of wildcard entries here. We'll see how the Mongolian entry gets on here in this 100 breaststroke. He has an entry time of 1:39, so shouldn't challenge the main contenders in the centre of the pool. That challenge should come from Kevin Paul, certainly. Championship record holder, Paralympic gold medalist in Beijing 2008 and the reigning world champion. He looked in great form when he swam the breaststroke leg of the IM the other day, Charlotte.
He did, and again there, big glide into the turn, and he looks really strong on this 100 here. Beautiful long stroke, very, very smooth.
It's a class for swimmers with minimal disability, the SB9 class, and they tend, I think all of these swimmers have arm disabilities, and that's a big advantage swimming breaststroke.
It is. It's a leg-dominated stroke, so it will be a big help to them that they can kind of get that drive through from the leg kick, and making great use of it here.
And here comes Kevin Paul, world record 104.02, and I tell you, he's not far away from that as a heat swim. 105.42 for Kevin Paul. Now that is faster than he went to win the final last time in Montreal. And he's very pleased with that one. Well done, Kevin Paul. Let's have a look at Batulga from Mongolia. Let's see if he can challenge his entry time of 139.01. The only Mongolian entry. He comes in now in a time of 132.76. A great improvement.
Big best time. Should be very, very happy with that.
Kevin Paul certainly very happy with his morning's work. 105.42, a championship record for Kevin Paul. Rick Pendleton, second position, 110.37. And Grigorev, man who had a great European Championships last year. Finding it tough going so far, Grigorev, in these championships. Kevin Paul, he's both his hands on top of each other at the start there. It's good technique, isn't it?
It's a beautiful breaststroke. Very, very smooth and really quick to fire those arms forward. Finished on a glide, actually. You could probably get a little bit more out of that.
He does look in great shape, Kevin Paul. Championship record for the South African, Kevin Paul, 105.42, ahead of Rick Pendleton and Dmitry Grigorev. Kevin Paul will progress to the final in first position, ahead of the two Russians, Buganenko and Poltavtsev in second and third position. Women's 100 breaststroke for the SB9 class. That's the lineup for Heat 1. They're all coming into the start here out of that long tunnel. What's it like at the back of that tunnel? It's pretty dark down there.
It is. We all said it kind of felt like we were coming out for a boxing rumble when we kind of did our walk round, but it's great. It's very atmospheric, and you can kind of look down the pool, and it kind of really psychs you up to come out and try and perform. It's I really like it. I really like it.
And you've got to come out and then kind of fan out to your lanes, or can you step up at the front there, or do they force you to go down?
No, they're very strict on going around the side, and everything's done precisely.
Well, Sophie Pascoe goes in this one, the reigning world champion. Alongside her, Zhang Ming of China. There's Lisa Kruger for the Netherlands, another youngster, 14 years of age. Lisa Kruger, Netherlands swimmer, but Sophie Pascoe, wow, she looked really good in the 200 medley yesterday. I expect that she will feature very heavily at the front of the field this one. Zhang Ming will be close by, Chinese swimmer in lane number 5, but Sophie Pascoe has just had great championship. Very, very good form, Sophie Pascoe, so far.
She's a brilliant swimmer. She's an all-rounder. She's strong. She looks in great shape this season, and looking at her here, she's looking brilliant on this breaststroke. Quite a high turnover on her rate, but she's really looking like she's putting down a marker this morning.
Chased by the youngster Lisa Kruger there, one line up. The Netherlands swimmer, the 14-year-old. But Sophie Pascoe will be first to the turn. She's back in the pool that she won the Commonwealth gold here last year. She does enjoy swimming here in tow cross. She wasn't very well in the Commonwealth Games last year.
No, and I believe she had to pull out of the other major summer meet that they had last year, so she's probably got a point to prove this year. She wants to demonstrate her form, and she'll be targeting those medals, and she's looking great here, nice and strong.
And Sophie Pascoe then just holding the lead ahead of Lisa Kruger from the Netherlands. World record held by Jessica Sloan of Canada. That has been standing since the year 2000. Sophie Pascoe under the 120 mark in 1:19.53. Lisa Kruger 1:20.99. Zhang Meng 1:21.04. So nice improvement there from Lisa Kruger. Pascoe, just a little bit of a breathing out there. Used up a little bit of energy there, Sophie.
Yeah, I think so, but there's strong challenges coming at her in this event now, and I think she'll have wanted to put a stamp on it this morning and get herself a good lane draw for the final tonight.
Sophie Pascoe is one of these swimmers. If you're a youngster looking up to anyone, if you're next to Sophie Pascoe in the final, it's got to be a little bit intimidating, isn't it?
It has. She's a real force to be reckoned with. She's been incredibly successful, and she is one of those people that you look at, and she's a Paralympic legend, and a lot of people will find her very intimidating, but she's a lovely, lovely girl, and she works super, super hard.
Sophie Pascoe trying to add to her tally of gold medals at these championships. Sophie Pascoe takes heat 1 of the women's 100 breaststroke SB9 ahead of Kruger and Zhang. There is the lineup for 100 breaststroke SB9 heat 2. One to watch out for here, Chantal Ziedeveld from the Netherlands, European record holder. She set that record last year in the Eindhoven Championships. A real roar from the Eindhoven crowd last year, real home favourite there. Fantastic young talent.
She is. She's been doing a lot of racing. I raced her in the multi-class events in Berlin, and she's been looking on great form this year, and she's really hungry for this. This is the one she wants, and she'll be wanting to give Sophie a good race later on tonight, I would imagine.
Ziedeveld first to the turn. Very fast, 36.29. That's inside world record pace for Chantal Ziedeveld of the Netherlands. Madeline Scott from Australia returning to the pool where she won Commonwealth Games silver last year. And in third position, Nina Ryabova, who swam well in the 50 but didn't make the final of the 200 medley yesterday.
Well, maybe she's saving it on for this one.
And here comes Ziedeveld. That world record, 1:16.93. She is going to just slip by that. I think she's just easing up at the end there. And it's 1:19.10, but she was down on record pace in that first 50, and that promises to be a good battle. She does look very young, doesn't she? 14 years of age.
Absolutely, another youngster coming through, and they want to try and take down these people that have been around a long time. They have somebody to chase, and it looks to be a great battle between her and Sophie tonight. It will be a great race to watch.
Ryabova looks like she probably have done enough to progress to the final this time, after surprise missing out on the 200 medley final yesterday. But there is Ziedeveld, went out on a 36.29. The world record split 36.37, so inside that. But can she hold on to that tonight? I'm sure if Sophie Pascoe next to her, we are going to see some cracking times there. Chantal Zedeveld from the Netherlands, 119.10, ahead of Madeline Scott and Nina Ryabova. Chantal Zedeveld progresses to the final in first position ahead of Sophie Pascoe. That promises to be a cracker. There's a lineup for the women's 100 backstroke in the S13 classification. Well, this is the class for the visually impaired. Remember the classifications in Paralympic swimming, 1 to 10 for those with a physical disability, 1 being the most severe, 11 to 13 being those with visual impairments, and 14 those with an intellectual impairment. This is the S13, their visually impaired class, a partial sight, Charlotte.
Yes, this is obviously the least impaired of the visually impaired, and they don't use the tappers, and I don't believe they have to have their goggles blacked out either. But obviously it may cause a bit of a problem with the spotting the walls and spotting the finishers.
Well, they're only going to see the walls when they approach them, so they're going to be pretty close to the wall before they realise the wall is coming up there. There'll be a lot of stroke counting for these swimmers, but they should be able to follow the markings on the bottom of the pool, so you won't see the swimmers veer into the lane ropes as much as you do in the S11 and some of the S12 classes too. Backstroke devices again causing a little bit of a delay there. You know much about them, Charlie? Have you seen them? I know you haven't used them, but they're pretty new innovation, aren't they, this year?
They are, yeah. We've had one up at No Centurion, because obviously Ollie Hind, who I train with, does the backstroke, so had a little bit of a look at them, but yeah, it's not something that I'll be thinking of using in the near future.
Marta Steczenko is the fastest entry time here. Substantially faster than the rest of the field, 108.36. She, swimmer who swam in able-bodied competitions, quite a high level at the FINA World Cup, and she's come into Paralympic sport, and she has already broken some records here and looking good at the moment. Is that an advantage coming in from able-bodied swimming if you acquire a disability?
I'm not too sure. I would imagine so. You get that experience. The able-bodied program provides a lot more chance to race than perhaps the para swimming program. So maybe that would give people an advantage. Those race skills that are vital, you may be able to sort of have them more readily available to you if you've had use of those more frequently.
Well, she's drawn on all her experience here, all her competitive experience, because Steczenko is going to take this one well. World record is 107.29. She's about a second and a half outside that one. 108.78 for Steczenko. She's followed home by Colleen Young of the USA and Tegan van Roosmalen in third position for Australia. 2 heats of this one, of course. Fastest 8 times will progress to the final. Steczenko 108.78 there. She looked pretty good indeed, didn't she?
She did. She looked nice and strong. Again, that long ranging stroke, always a help on backstroke. And yeah, she looked great.
There's Colleen Young. That is Van Roosmalen, not Hancock. I've advertised in here, I think. Tegan van Roosmalen. There is Steczenko using that backstroke starting device. Just rolling the shoulders there, keeping the head pretty steady there. Steczenko, very good backstroke. She's not a tall swimmer, Steczenko, but she does take that first heat. Steczenko 108.78 ahead of Colleen Young and Van Roosmalen. heat number 2 of the women's 100 backstroke S13. There is Anna Krivshina, world champion, the European champion, the world record holder. Kind of burst onto the scene in Montreal 2 years ago, Krivshina.
A lot of people did kind of emerge in 2013. It was the first year after a Paralympic Games, the start of a new 4-year cycle, and a lot of people came out of the woodwork at 2013 and surprised a lot of people.
I think it makes a difference that the year after the Paralympics was the 13 championships. This is the year before. The performance is ramping up in preparation for Rio.
People want to put down a marker this year, and it's the last test against each other in world terms before the big one next year. So people do want to put down a statement of intent this year and kind of get the lay of the land before they go into that final push towards the Paralympic Games.
Well, Krivshina's certainly doing that in this race. She is inside world record pace at the halfway stage, 32.31. She is well ahead of the rest of the field. She set that world record in Montreal. It's 107.29. Could we be on for a world record here in the heat? 107.29. Well, 107.53. It finished, but what a convincing swim that was. Sterre Veerman gets the second position, the 15-year-old from the Netherlands. And in third position, it was Kasamoto of Japan. And fourth was Sanne Hoffman of the Netherlands. But what a convincing performance that was by Krivshina.
Absolutely. Again, putting down that statement in the heat, it gives those people that are going to be racing against in the final something to think about. And maybe she wanted to kind of put her marker down this morning. And, you know, sometimes it's about tactics. You've got to go out and display what you've got. If you feel like you're on form, you want to go out there and show people, maybe give them a bit of a, you know, a mind game before the final, get into the head, and who knows what can happen when you're lined up for that final later on tonight.
That looks really good technique. The arms really close to the side of the head there. Fantastic technique there for Krivshina. Real stretch there at the end on the backstroke. And that time very close to the world record. 107.53 for Anna Krivshina, ahead of Veerman and Kasamoto. Krivshina will progress to the final in first position, round about a second ahead of Stetsenko, with Sterre Veerman lying in third position. It's a confirmed result of the men's 400 freestyle S7. Andrei Gladkov and Andreas Bjornstad in first and second place, ahead of Kavatsaya from Ukraine. The men's 200 freestyle S5. There's the lineup for heat number 1. This is the S5 classification. We said before, S1 to 10 for those with the physical disabilities, right in the middle of that range, Charlotte. S5 class.
This promises to be a great one. This is one I've been looking forward to watching. You know, there's some great names in here, and obviously Britain's Andrew Mullen going in heat 2, Roy Perkins and the great Daniel Diaz.
A range of disabilities here. We'll see a difference in starting techniques here, I'm sure. If you do want to know anything about IPC swimming, any information that you have, please tweet us at IPC Swimming, hashtag Glasgow 2015. Charlotte will answer all your questions.
No pressure.
There's Roy Perkins, silver medalist in this event at the last World Championships. Sebastian Rodriguez, an experienced Spaniard. One swimmer starting in the water, two swimmers in the water, sorry. Roy Perkins using that towel on the top of the block. Some swimmers with lower leg disabilities use the towel, Charlotte. You use the towel?
I do. The blue surface on the block is like sandpaper. It's very, very rough. So if you're sitting on the block like I do, it can kind of really, really hurt the back of your leg when you're trying to drive off that wall to get as much force as you can. So a lot of people use a towel just as a bit of extra protection. I think it's only allowed to be one sort of level. It can't be doubled up. It's got to be one flat surface, but a lot of people use it. It just provides an extra bit of protection to sort of prevent from injuries and things like that.
Yeah, I suppose if it's 2 or 3 levels, a couple of cushions on there,
Absolutely.
give you a bit of an advantage.
Just the one, and it kind of gives you that bit of protection between yourself and the rough edge of the block.
Well, that's certainly something that Roy Perkins has used, and he's away and clear here at the front of the field. Clodoaldo Silva, Brazilian, 13 Paralympic Games medals to his name, and he featured in the relay team 2 nights ago. And Roy Perkins, it's a good stroke for Roy Perkins. I mean, he's affected in all 4 limbs, no hands or feet there, but he's getting great propulsion there. It's a little bit of a kind of a dolphin kick at the back end of the stroke there almost.
Very impressive techniques. Obviously he's not got the hands or the feet to provide that catch on the water, but he has a really effective stroke. He gets that little grab of this water at the front of his stroke, and that obviously really helps to propel him, and a great kick from the bit of leg that he does have. Yeah, you can see there that fly kick just as he starts coming out of the water, and it's really giving him that propulsion at the back.
It's quite a tough skill to master, that, the freestyle legs and the dolphin kick there from Roy Perkins, but he's got it. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult having that coordination difference going, bilaterally on the front and then together on the back. But he obviously, all that training is paying off. He's got it down, and it's being really effective for him here.
Here comes Roy Perkins. He's into the closing stages now, just easing up slightly. He's going to be comfortably into the final here. There is a heat of 7 people coming up in heat number 2, so winning this heat will make it absolutely sure he's going to be in the final. It's going to be a good time. 2:44 his entry time. He's in 2:46, so that's good. Sebastian Rodriguez is in 2:51. Clodoaldo Silva in 2:52. So Roy Perkins just straining to try and look 50 metres away, that scoreboard, and 50 metres plus actually.
Yes. It's not easy to see when you've just worked hard and you're trying to work out your time and trying to work out where you've come. It can be a bit overwhelming. So
tussle there for 5th and 6th position there. Tiagonov in lane number 1 in 5th position. Roy Perkins, that was good performance there from the American. He sprung a little bit of a surprise in the World Championships last time, finishing ahead of Daniel Diaz in the 50 fly.
Yeah, and the great Daniel Diaz, you don't see him getting beaten very often, and there you go. That's Roy kind of using that towel, and there's very effective start actually. So he's not got much of that leg. He really gets a drive off of his stumps there.
There's that impressive technique there for Roy Perkins. His old rival Sebastian Rodriguez there. These guys have competed against each other for many years now. They know each other very, very well. Sebastian Rodriguez was certainly the man to beat a few years back, but Roy Perkins takes that first heat of the 200 freestyle S5 ahead of Rodriguez and ahead of Clodoaldo Silva. Heat number 2 of the men's 200 freestyle S5, ready to go in the water. is the great man, Daniel Diaz of Brazil. And the local lad, Andrew Mullen. Massive fan club here. I can hear, go Andrew. We've got headphones on, but we can both hear, go Andrew.
Yeah, probably with his mum, and he's got a great support here. And Andrew's been doing some great training, and I know he really, really rises to an occasion. He loves that competitiveness, and he loves to race Daniel. And I've been looking forward to watching this one for a couple of months now.
Andrew Mullen took his first major title at this distance at the Europeans last year. He's really good coming off the wall, isn't he?
He's got a phenomenal kick. He got a great underwater phase. You can see it there, just driving through with that one leg that he has. But he's incredible in training. It's like a train when he goes past you with his kick. And he uses it to his full advantage here.
Daniel Diaz comes up a little bit quicker off the wall, and he's keeping close eye on young Andrew Mullen next to him in the blue cap. It's going well is Theo Curin from France and Vo Tang Ton from Vietnam in 4th place. James Scully from Ireland in 5th at the moment. And here's Daniel Diaz going over, 2nd ahead of Andrew Mullen, but Mullen just making up a little bit of ground on that turn again.
Yeah, he's got great skills, and you know, when you have a strength, you have to work on it and you have to use it. And Andrew's strength really is those skills and underwater phase, and he really does use it to his advantage.
Diaz is the world record holder, 2:26.51. That is a phenomenal time. Roy Perkins in the last heat, we saw him swim just outside his best time. 2:46 time, and Daniel Diaz over there in 2 minutes for that 150 mark. Again, the gap probably about a second still, but look at Daniel Diaz go.
He's incredible to watch, and he's just got this turn of speed. He can just switch it on, and he's doing it here. And you know, when you see a great swimmer swim like this, it really is a privilege to watch. I love watching him race.
Not much that Andrew Mullen can do about that one, because Daniel Diaz has just turned on the speed there in the last 50. He, talking about putting a statement down, Charlotte, this is one from Daniel Diaz. 2:36 is the final time. The gap at the 150 was just over a second. The gap at the finish is something like 8 seconds.
Well, that's a great swim from Andrew Mullen. It's inside his entry time. I'm pretty sure that he'll be happy with that. GB coaches look fairly happy, and so I hope that gives him a bit of confidence going into tonight, into the final. Little nod of his head there.
It's Theo Curin from France finished in 3rd position. James Scully from Ireland in 4th position, so we'll see if that is good enough for them to progress to the final. I think it may well be. Daniel Diaz will certainly be fastest into that final. But what a turn of speed there from Daniel Diaz, 2:36.38. And for that last 50, it was 36 seconds for that last 50.
It's a great swim, and you know, he's just incredible to watch. He just has something about him, and you know, when he turns it on like that, you know that you're watching a great. And you know, he always delivers, and maybe being beaten last World Championships in that 50, kind of, he's not used to that, so I think it probably gave him that little bit of drive. And he's going into next year, he's got home Paralympic Games next year, and so he'll be really wanting to put a marker down this year, and next year, you know, he's going to be fearsome in the pool in Rio.
Well, he's fearsome right now in this pool in Glasgow. That was a great performance for Daniel Diaz. He wins heat number 2 in 2:36.38. Andrew Mullen in 2nd position. Theo Curin in 3rd, ahead of Ireland's James Scully. The 8 swimmers who progress to the final of the men's 200 freestyle S5. Daniel Diaz leads the way, ahead of Andrew Mullen and Roy Perkins. There's the start list for the women's 200 freestyle S5, the first heat. Sarah Rung from Norway, again an experienced campaigner. She's been around for a while.
She has, and you know, she's another great athlete. She's multiple medalist, and again she dominates her field, and she's been looking in pretty good form. I saw her in the training pool yesterday and she looked pretty strong, so it'd be interesting to see how she goes here.
So a shot of another youngster, Estefany Rodrigues from Brazil, in lane number 3. Another 16-year-old. She featured in the Brazilian relay team on day 1 alongside Daniel Diaz. It was a mixed relay. And good start in lane 5 by Joanna Maria Silva. But Sarah Louise Rung, well,
she's got that strong set of arms. You know, she does it. She starts in the water. She doesn't get a great drive off the wall, if anything, but she's got a strong upper body, and she really uses it to pull herself into the race. And you know, now sort of coming up to the 30-meter mark, up to the end of the 50, she's really kind of put a marker down, and she's taken the field, and she's gone ahead there.
Sarah Louise Rung, she has, as you said, Charlotte, dominated this event for the last 5 years. Gold medals in each of the major championships. 2 world titles in 2010, 2013, 2 Europeans titles in 11 and 14, and a Paralympic gold in 2012. Sarah Louise Rung, well, certainly looks unstoppable in this heat so far. Second position, Anita Fatis of France. So a good swim by the French swimmer in the men's S5. Anita Fatis going well in lane number 6. Joanna Maria Silva in lane number 5 in third position at the moment. Sarah Louise Rung is away and clear, 125.10. World record, it's a long-standing world record before your time, Charlotte. Beatrice Hess of France in the year 2000 in the Sydney Paralympic Games. And you were just wee.
I was wee. Yeah, I remember watching the Sydney Games. I was 13, and that was the games that really inspired me to get myself onto the Paralympic team. So I remember it well.
I was even swimming then.
Were
it was
you?
that long ago. Yeah, it was a great game, Sydney. There's not that many records that are still on the books for Sydney. There are still a few. Beatrice Hess was a sensational swimmer back then. She was involved in the French Paralympic Committee shortly after that. I'm not sure if she still is. She may well be watching today. So if you are Beatrice Hess, send us in a tweet.
Please do.
At IPC Swimming and hashtag Glasgow 2015. I'm sure that the record of Beatrice Hess is going to survive, certainly for this morning, because Sarah Rung from Norway is just easing into the final stages here. She's in it in 2:55.9. Very relaxed performance there from Sarah Rung from Norway. Looking very good indeed. Joanna Maria Silva in second position in that heat. Anita Fatis from France in third. This is a combined event, of course. We have swimmers in the S3 classification and the S4 class still in the water there. So we'll keep an eye on the times for those swimmers. Gabardolina coming in now in lane number 2. She's an S3 swimmer and she has swum 3:43. So that's a championship record for the S3 class. And Baijuan from China is in an S4 classification, but Sarah Rung from Norway, she looked pretty relaxed there.
She does, and you know, I think she probably knew that she could just put down a good heat swim this morning and go through tonight to the final and hopefully try and get under her entry time, maybe go a bit quicker. But she has great use of the wall, and that she's got a brilliant, strong stroke, very even, very controlled. And I think just coming into the wall here, you can see she uses that spin that she has very effectively. Really effective.
Sarah Rong from Norway. Of silver from Brazil, Fatis of France. Championship record for the S3 swimmer, Gabadalina of Kazakhstan. Heat number 2 of the women's 200 freestyle for the S5 classification. Inbal Pizarro in that centre lane. Again, another swimmer who has been around for a number of years. She's only 28 years of age, Inbal Pizarro, but very experienced. Certainly been around since the Athens Paralympic Games. Sure, before that, Teresa Perales too goes in lane number 5. She won a gold medal in this event in the Beijing Paralympics in 2008. So an experienced field here, and that was a very good start from Teresa Perales in lane number 5 there.
It was, again, you know, with these swimmers that have limited use of their lower legs, they really have to have that upper body strength, and Teresa showing it here, like Sarah Louise Rung, got that even stroke to kind of get her into a rhythm, and using it very effectively again here.
Now we'll see Teresa Perales, real experienced campaigner. She won gold in a 50 backstroke 2 days ago. She looked a little bit surprised with that result, extremely delighted with it. I don't think she expected to win the 50 backstroke. I think the 200 freestyle might be one that she maybe has her sights set on here. 22 Paralympic Paralympic Games medals. Not 22 golds, 6 golds out of the 22 for Teresa Perales. But Pizarro has generally been a challenger of Teresa Perales in this particular event. Pizarro more suited to the longer distances rather than the sprints for Teresa Perales, so this will be interesting. Pizarro coming back now and probably just taking the lead, the white cap of Israel, and Teresa Perales now dropping back, Charlotte.
Yeah, and you can see now that if Teresa is traditionally, she's a sprint athlete, and she's kind of not got the engine, that aerobic engine, maybe to see her through this last 100, so just kind of dropping back a little bit off the pace, but I'm sure she'll still make it through to tonight's final.
There's one S4 swimmer in this one. That's the swimmer in lane number 6, Ariola Trimi from Italy. We'll keep an eye on her time. She is one that we love watching, Ariola Trimi. She is a great technician, just coming into your shot there at the bottom of the screen. She is an S4 swimmer, but a real great freestyle technician. Pizarro, very similar as well. Steady ahead there. Just keeping that breathing to both sides, having a look around.
Steady head and beautiful high elbows and a great catch, which is what you want on freestyle. It's very effective, smooth through the water, looks effortless.
Inbal Pizarro comes in now, and she will take that one comfortably in 3:02.65. Teresa Perales in second place. Alicia Gialamas from the USA in third position. Good time for her, 3:13.3. And there's Ariola Trimmi. She's coming in 3:15 for the S4 class. That's a championship record for Ariola Trimmi from Italy in the S4 class. But Inbal Pizarro, very comfortable there. There's Reka Kezi from Hungary coming in now. And Antoniadou from Greece, and Xi Jingbo from China. Xi Jingbo, swimmer in the S3 class. So Antoniadou and Xi Jingbo comes in now. Xi Jingbo in 4:24. Good time for the Chinese athlete. And Teresa Perales, well, started off well, a little bit of a nod of the head. Yeah, she's okay with that.
Yeah, she'd take the morning swim, I think. Looks like she would. Nice and controlled. That's what you want. And again, that's a beautiful front crawl stroke there. Perfect still head, and those high elbows, which sometimes on a distant event it can start to fall apart a little bit if you don't have that energy, you don't have that technique, but beautiful and symmetrical throughout the race.
There it is, the finish for Inbal Pizarro. Very pleased with that. And she should progress to the final comfortably. Inbal Pizarro takes that second heat ahead of Teresa Perales and Alicia Gialamas. Championship record in the S4 class for Ariola Trimmi of Italy. Sarah Louise Rong from Norway is fastest into the final, 2:55.96 for the Norwegian swimmer. Inbal Pizarro and Teresa Perales second and third. Joa Maria Silva from Brazil, she will be hoping to challenge for the medals tonight in the final. Well, Charlotte, I know you're finish your programme here in Glasgow, but you've still got to train, you're telling us.
Yep, I'm going in for a swim in about 20 minutes. I've got to straight back on it. No day off today. We're lucky enough to get to race in the London pool in less than a fortnight's time at the National Paralympic Day. So we really want to keep on good form for that. So back in the pool and a couple more weeks of hard work before I can have a holiday.
Well, the men's 200 metres individual medley for the SM8 class. First heat are out and ready to go. Well, Charlotte, you are looking forward to this one immensely.
I am. My training partner, my Green Army Nova Centurion buddy, Ollie Hind, is going in heat 2, and obviously he's European, Commonwealth, Paralympic world champion in this event, so I'm really looking forward to this one, see what he can do.
There is Mortensen, the Dane in lane number 3, Robert Griswold from USA in lane number 4, and that's Jesse Angles from Australia. Commonwealth Games silver last year. Jesse Angles behind Ollie Hind. And he's just not great off the blocks, as not as good as the other ones, but of course just depend on the type of disability, whether you get off the blocks as well as the others, but things tend to level themselves out as you go through the race.
Especially in the individual medley, each athlete tends to have a strength over the 4 strokes, the butterfly, the backstroke, breaststroke, or the front crawl, and order can change quite a lot in a medley. I find it one of the most exciting races to watch because it can kind of change up a little bit, and if you don't have a great start, you can try and make it up somewhere else.
Well, Robert Griswold certainly looks like he does have a good start, because he is leading them over the first half of this race. He swimmer with cerebral palsy. He's only 18 years of age. It's his first major international on the global stage. Goes over. That's a good turn, that, isn't it?
Very good turn.
And he goes away from Jesse Youngles, but Jesse Youngles is trying to come back a little on the breaststroke. Breaststroke for Robert Griswold. His backstroke looked very long, but the breaststroke was a little bit short stroke there at the front.
Very short and snatched kind of stroke, very high stroke rate, and probably expending quite a lot of energy on that. So it'd be interesting to see if that affects his front crawl 50 at the end.
Very good. First 100, the world record was held by Peter Leak still. That was held at the Beijing Games in 2008, and that's 2 minutes 20.92. And at the halfway stage, Robert Griswold was not too far away from the world record split, but he's dropped off that split on the breaststroke leg, so Jesse Youngles was able to get back very close to the American, but Griswold looks a strong freestyler, and he's holding off the Australian here, but a little bit of a battle in the closing stages.
Yeah, very interesting, and this is what I was saying about the medley. You know, you've always got that kind of cat and dog, cat and mouse thing, and it's great. It's great for the excitement. It's great for spectators, and that was a great battle there.
Griswold went out for that one. That time of 2:27.53. That's a new record for the Americas region for Robert Griswold, and he will be happy with that one. Jesse Youngles from Australia, 2:28.74. He chased the American here, but Robert Griswold takes that one. There you can see America's record. Robert Griswold, Jesse Youngles. His entry time was 2:29. He's improved that to 2:28. That's Mortensen. He was third position in a time of 2:34. So that should be good enough to make the final, but of course it depends what happens in this second heat. There's Robert Griswold. That, as you said, a kind of a snatchy breaststroke there.
Very much so, but it didn't look to affect his freestyle too much. But yeah, very, very high stroke rate, which will be using up a lot of energy on that breaststroke legs. He seems happy.
Robert Griswold takes that heat one in a new America's record, 2:27.53, ahead of Jesse Youngles and Mortensen of Denmark. Ollie Hind is in the centre lane for Heat 2 of the men's 200 IM SM8.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I train every day with Ollie, and you know, this is the one that he's been undefeated in for a long, long time. He works really hard, and I'm really excited to see what he's doing. Obviously, being in training with him every day, I've seen the work he's put in, so I'm excited to see if he can put that into his racing here. This is his first event here, this championship, so he's probably feeling a bit nervous. He'll want to get a good swim under his belt, but really excited to see him swim.
He'll have a lot of support from the crowd. I'm sure his family always travel to support him. Saxona from Canada, nearest to us. All behind in the centre lane, but watch out for the man who has gone into an early lead there, Charles Rozoy of France. Usually there, he posted quite a slow entry time of 2:41, but he's capable of a lot faster.
He is, but again, like I say, you know, Charles is a great fly swimmer, and Ollie's got a really strong backstroke. He does go in the 100 backstroke later on this week, so you know, he's got his strengths as well, so it'll be interesting to see where they can kind of push each other along here.
It was Konstantin Lysenkov who leads them through the butterfly. Lysenkov, the 100 backstroke champion, Paralympic champion from Russia, so behind will have his work cut out to try and catch the Russian here on the backstroke leg, but it's those two, the two who have the great strength in the backstroke discipline. We're coming away from the rest of the field. Lysenkov, oh, that wasn't a good turn for Lysenkov. He just seemed to stall a little bit going into the turn there, and Ollie Hind has come out ahead.
Yeah, and Ollie can really use his breaststroke leg to his advantage. It's probably the weaker of his four strokes, but he's still got a great turn of speed on that breaststroke, and he's really using it to his advantage here, pulling away from Lysenkov, and he'll want that lead going into the freestyle leg, because Lysenkov can put in a good 50 on that freestyle.
Well, he was a tenth of a second slower than Robert Griswold was in that previous heat, but Robert Griswold went through the breaststroke leg in 152.43. That's where Griswold seemed to struggle, and Ollie Hind has gone through in 150 dead for Ollie Hind. So Hind leads comfortably now, 6 seconds in it ahead of Konstantin Lysenkov, and a big lead for your clubmate.
Yeah, he used that breaststroke length very, very well, and he played to his advantage there, and he needed a good lead going into that freestyle, and Ollie will feed off that. You know, he likes to have that distance between him and the opposition, and he's looking pretty strong here and nice and smooth, and he'll just want to put down a good heat swim and go through to the final tonight with a comfortable swim. And 2:24.5 is a comfortable heat swim for Ollie. His best is a 2:22, so I'm pretty sure he'll be pleased with that.
Well, he's going to go into that final. If this result is confirmed, in first position, he will be in pole position for that final this evening. He looks in great shape. The host nation didn't win a gold medal in the first 2 days. Number of silvers, including your own.
Yep. But we've got some great chances today. Hannah Russell in the 100 back, obviously Ollie in the 200 medley, and don't worry, there'll be one coming soon.
That's good to hear, Charlotte. Good to hear. That'll be one of the Green Army.
I hope so. Yeah, Nova Centurion. You know, we've got a great history of Paralympic and Olympic champions and Paralympic and Olympic swimmers. So it's great to see Ollie there, sort of pushing through. And that breaststroke, you know, it is his weaker of the four strokes, but he really looks strong there.
Well, it is his weaker of the four strokes, but it looks like it is stronger than his main competitors there, Lysenkov and Robert Griswold from that first heat. The result is confirmed. Ollie Hind wins that second heat in 2:24.50 ahead of Lysenkov and Song. Here are the qualifiers for tonight's final. Ollie Hind in first position, Robert Griswold in second, and Jesse Ongles in third place going into that final. The women's 200 metres individual medley in the SM8 class. That is heat number 1. There's Jessica Long. Charlotte Henshaw should have been in this one, Charlotte.
Yeah.
You've done the IM before?
I have, but not this time. I wanted to focus on that breaststroke, so yeah, it's not my forte. This is my fun event, so maybe not here, but I do like to swim a medley occasionally.
200 IM fun.
Yes. Well, if you could call it fun. I'm not sure you could. I like it.
Well, Charlotte's going to leave us. Thank you very much for coming this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's been good. Congratulations once again on your silver medal.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic performance. We look out to watching you next year in Rio. I'm sure you're going to be in top shape getting to there.
Thank you very much.
Well, Charlotte's going to have to leave us, unfortunately. Just at the time Let me move on to the women's SM8. Charlotte said, National Paralympic Day in a week or so's time. So Jessica Long takes them out in that first heat. And she's going to be very much the favourite for this one. The world record holder is 236.00. And she goes away strongly there in the front of the field. Lu Wei-yan from China in second. And at the moment, it's Brickle Bro from the USA in third position up there in lane number 1. Well, Charlotte Henshaw has left us, but it's been a seamless changeover because Liz Johnson is back at another SB6 breaststroker.
Hello.
So welcome again, Liz. And just come in time to see someone you know very well, Jessica Long, stretching away at the front of this one and only heat of the women's 200 individual medley, as we've seen in previous events. 10 swimmers in this one, so they've got to lose 2 for the final. Jess Long doing very well, but the breaststroke Supremo, Alicia Vladikina coming back now into second position.
That's to be expected because Jessica Long actually goes down a classification for breaststroke due to a leg impairment. So Alicia Vladikina has the advantage on this leg of the medley, but I don't think it's going to be enough in this heat this morning because Jessica Long is looking comfortable.
Remember, keep your tweets going at IPC Swimming, hashtag Glasgow 2015. We have had a question saying we've seen some pretty rough handling of the swimmers here in and out of the pool, and does it hurt? Liz Johnson, that's a question for you.
The question came in from Susie Byrne, and the answer is no, because as difficult as it looks for the way these coaches get these athletes out of the water, it's a day in, day out thing. And so they will have practiced this a lot and figured out the best way to do it. And these athletes spend a lot, they have really good relationships with these coaches and these support staff. And actually, it would probably hurt more to drag them over the poolside and scuff their limbs as they're getting out. So no, it's a completely safe way of doing it.
They'll all be very used to it, I'm afraid. There we are, Jessica Long comfortably in 242.20. She is going to be a massive favourite for this one tonight. Lu Wei-yan in second position, 258. And in third place it was Vladikina from Russia. Expect her to go a little bit faster. We saw her almost stop on the breaststroke yesterday at the end.
Yeah, and Vladikina looks to have done the same today. I mean, that's almost 20 seconds off her best time, so she will be looking to go considerably quicker this evening.
There is lane number 9, Bazdioka from Romania, one of the 2 Romanians here, and she has an entry time of 3 minutes 30. Not sure if she's going to achieve that time. It's the SM8 class, of course. Jessica Long 242, but Bazdioka, again, one of these countries at wildcard entries. We've seen a few of the countries we wouldn't normally see in the major events here in Glasgow.
Which is great to see the year before the Paralympic Games, because hopefully it'll give them the incentive that they require to do some bit more training and win a place for next year's Paralympics.
Paralympics, all about participation across the world. There are these wildcard places available for certain countries. They don't qualify as a right through the qualification process. The winners here in Glasgow earn a spot for their country, not necessarily for themselves, but a spot for their country at the Paralympic Games next year in Rio.
And Jessica Long, who is in shot at the moment, she's more than done that for her country already. She achieved that on day one, and she's flying through this meet.
Jessica Long not being too happy with her time. She's a little bit disappointed with her butterfly time a couple of days ago. She'll be pleased with that heat swim. 2:42.20 for Jessica Long of the USA, ahead of Lu Weiyuan from China and Olesya Ladikina from Russia. Heat 1 of the men's 100 backstroke in the S12 classification.
Take your marks.
Alexander Nevelin Svetov in the centre lane. Lane number 4 is the world record holder. That time 59.35. Next to him is Charlamopoulos Tiganidis of Greece. And Tiganidis was a man who took a gold medal in his home Paralympic Games in Athens in 2004.
He was actually competing in the S13 classification then, so he's obviously had a bit of a deterioration in his vision, but it doesn't look to be stopping him this morning because he's right up there with the leader.
Nevelin Svetov, the world record holder, he won the Paralympic title in 2008 and 2012. He's been under pressure in the world rankings in recent times, but Nevelin Svetov's going to win this one. 102.18. Makarov, his Russian teammate, in second position, 103.30. Tiganidis was third place, 104.96, ahead of Danilo Chufarov. Well, so Nevelin Svetov, he has dominated this backstroke event. There's Makarov, who is unbeaten in the 100 butterfly for many years, Raman Makarov. And here's Tiganidis. Great, he should progress to the final with that time.
Great start in lane 5 there from Makarov, and we saw throughout the race that he actually stayed a lot closer to the lane line, and this is the classification in the visually impaired classifications where there's the biggest discrepancy in the amount of vision that the swimmers have, and he obviously struggles a little more, so he was sticking closer to the line.
Nevelin Svetov and Makarov are the top two from heat number 1. Start list for heat number 2 of the men's 100 backstroke S12. Top of the world rankings this year, Tucker Dupree of the USA. He has got designs on the world title, he's got designs on the world record, I'm sure, held by Nevelin Svetov. 59.35, Tucker Dupree.
This is definitely Tucker Dupree's favourite event. He's also very good at the 50 freestyle, but this is his baby, and this is the one he'll be coming here to win. He actually left the London 2012 Paralympic Games village at the end of the meet with his travelling backpack on his back, and he went travelling around Europe for a while. So like some of the other Americans, he's taken a bit of a break, but now he's firmly back into his training, and I'm guessing we'll see the results of that this evening.
Well, he was here last year at the British International Disability Meet. I spoke to him then, and it was all about these championships here in Glasgow this year and Rio next year. And he's a man certainly with a vision. This is part of his big plan, and he takes that one in 102.24, ahead of Sergei Clipper, 102.45.
That'll be a very comfortable swim for Tucker this morning, and he'll be pleased with that when he gets out and someone lets him know his time.
See some tappers there being employed in the S12 class. Not allowed to have the tappers in the S12, although the number of the swimmers, it's not necessary for them, but S11 and S12 allowed to use the tapping sticks.
Yeah, as we mentioned in the previous heat, some of the S12s literally aren't far off becoming S11s, so they actually require the tapper stick because they can really only tell light from dark.
Both stretching together, Clipper and Tucker Dupree, and they will both progress to the final pretty comfortably, I think. Tucker Dupree takes that heat number 2 ahead of Sergei Clipper. Dimitri Saleh from Azerbaijan in third. Evelyn Svetov is fastest to the final ahead of Tucker Dupree and Sergei Clipper. .100 backstroke for women in the S12 classification. This is the start list for the one and only heat. Well, there's Hannah Russell, the world record holder from Great Britain. What did she do this morning?
She broke this world record for the first time to hit her first ever long course world record in December in Berlin. And she's gone from strength to strength since going to university in Manchester, but she's already decided that she's going to take a year out next year to focus on giving Rio 2016, giving the campaign everything she's got.
She does a range of events, but this is very much her number one. She is the world champion in this one from 2013. It's one of the few events that she managed to get ahead of Daraya Stukalova. There is Raquel Viel from Brazil. Stukalova goes in lane number 5. There's these backstroke starting devices. The officials having a little bit of trouble with them. Looks a little bit twisted there. That can't be good.
That's not going to matter because once it's in the water, it doesn't move. It's set at a specific length. There is only really an issue for the officials when they're flicking the block out before the finish.
Well, we're sorting out that little kink in the... These are fairly new to the major competitions, fairly new to some of the officials as well who are setting them out.
I think they're fairly new to some of the athletes as well, but they have to make sure, the most important thing is to make sure that they're locked into the holes where the wedge on the back of the block slots into, so that there's no movement, and it looks like we're ready to go.
Let's see what difference these starting devices make for the swimmers here. I think they are mostly all using them, maybe not lane number 2 possibly, I'm not too sure, but most of the swimmers are using these starting devices. Hannah Russell in the centre lane in lane number 4. Got a good reaction there, Hannah Russell.
Hannah Russell's going to need a good swim because the Stukalova looked really good in the medley last night on the backstroke length, but Hannah's been really working on her underwater, and we saw it there. She used a good 13 metres off of the wall, and she's already up and into a good stroke rate.
It's a good technique from Hannah Russell, really steady head there as she comes into the turn. This turn very important for the visually impaired athletes. Good turn from Hannah Russell, though. She has just over a half a second lead of Daraya Stukalova from Russia, and in third position there at the turn was Matlo from Ukraine. Hannah Russell, and now she's just being pegged back by Stukalova of Russia, and it looks like Stukalova taking the lead.
Stukalova has gone into the lead, but Hannah Russell looks like she's dropped off considerably to save something for tonight. And it's actually interesting to see that Stukalova actually is wearing a costume. You don't see many athletes wearing just a swimming costume in a high-level event like this anymore.
Well, Stukalova through it, 108.75, but it was comfortable for Hannah Russell. She set her stall out early, going through in a 32.20, just half a second outside world record pace, but eased back considerably, as you said, Liz, in that second 50.
Yeah, Hannah will have discussed that plan with her coach before coming into this race, because they did only need to drop one athlete. But there's Stukalova. She's going to be happy to be going in lane 4 tonight.
Well, she is going to be tough to beat, Stukalova, but Hannah Russell will start as favourite. Showed she had a lot in the tank there. There's Raquel Viel from Brazil, 3rd position. But there's where Hannah Russell just took her foot off the gas.
Yeah, and you can see that's a great shot of them side by side, because you can see that Stukalova's arms are moving considerably faster, and actually the use of the nose clip there, which some backstrokers choose to do, but Hannah isn't one of those.
Stukalova takes that heat. Hannah Russell in 2nd position, and Raquel Viel from Brazil in 3rd. The men's 150 metres individual medley for the SM4 class. Just one heat of this one. There must be a Mexican in it, Liz. I can hear the Mexican.
Yeah, they don't need a big support crew. Their lead cheerleader makes plenty of noise.
Was he the Mexican? I can't remember. The Mexican tenor. That's what they used to call him. This big booming voice coming up there. There's Gustavo Sanchez Martinez. And there is Ahmed Kelly, the Australian, in the outside lane.
Ahmed Kelly's brother actually was on Australian X Factor. He made it through to boot camp.
Did he? Ahmed Kelly.
Talented siblings right there.
It's good knowledge. Ahmed Kelly, born in Iraq, adopted an Australian family. Part in these major championships here for the Aussie team. We've had a great championship so far.
They'll be really pleased, but I think Cameron Leslie, also from the oceanic part of the world, he'll be looking forward. This is really his race, and he'll be looking forward to getting off the blocks this morning.
Cameron Leslie has been the dominant force in this one for the past few years, since the Beijing Games in 2008. But this young man, Roman Zdanov from Russia, just 17 years of age, he will try and challenge the main man, Cameron Leslie.
The Russians had a great night last night, and I think they'll be looking to capitalise on it again today. It's great for their youngsters to be led from the front, really, by their more established athletes.
Zdanov has looked pretty strong in the events he's done so far. Entry time there in terms of the world rankings, very close. Cameron Leslie leads the rankings this year. Zdanov in 2nd place, not too far behind, and Jonas Larsson in lane number 3 may also feature, the Danish swimmer who won the European Championships last year. At 150 individual medley, an event that is unique to the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is actually the highest classification that take part in it, and it just means that they swim the latter part of the race without the first 50 metres butterfly. And Cameron Leslie has dominated this race, as you said, for a number of years, and actually this will be the first time he's ever had such a close challenge, because Zdanov's coming in with a entry time very similar to Cameron Leslie's, but Cameron Leslie's world record does have another 6 seconds to drop to, so hopefully we'll see how that pans out for him.
He does lead after that first 50, 1.8 seconds ahead of Jonas Larsson, the European champion, and Roman Zdanov in 3rd position. Those three look like they are away and clear, although we may have some of the breaststrokers coming back into contention. Takayuki Suzuki been training in Newcastle this year, the Japanese swimmer.
He has, yeah. He's been studying at Northumbria University with Louise Graham, who was on the London 2012 Great Britain coaching staff, and he's enjoying it. He's been to the British University Championships, and his English has come on amazingly. But I think Zudanov actually is looking like the breaststroker in this pack at the moment.
And he's coming up alongside Cameron Leslie here. And Leslie, well, maybe a little bit of a shock to the world record holder here. We've seen a few shocks this week already with the youngsters coming through. Speaking to Charlotte about that earlier today, and she knows all about that.
Yeah, Charlotte often seems to have that. She comes into really good form and gets to a major championship, and then there always seems to be some youngster that just pips her. But at least it was at the World Championships, and she's got time to prepare for the Paralympic Games next year.
Well, Roman Zdanov is going away from world record holder Cameron Leslie at the moment. Leslie does look fairly relaxed. I just wonder if he is going to have a little pop at the Russian swimmer at the end here. Cameron Leslie, just to try and stamp his authority on this one. A little bit of a increase in the turnover for Leslie at the end there. And it was a good time, wasn't it? 2:28 for Zdanov, a championship record indeed. And Cameron Leslie under the 2:30 mark, so they look pretty relaxed, but they were not hanging about, were they?
No, and that'll be one of the fastest morning swims that Cameron Leslie's ever put in, because he's never really been challenged that much before. But he'll be happy with that, and he'll be glad, because he's got plenty of scope to increase. Here's Ahmed Kelly. His butterfly and his breaststroke are very similar, aren't they?
Here comes Ahmed Kelly. Again, of course, affected in all four limbs, Ahmed Kelly, and the Aussies were standing up for that one, cheering their man on, and the New Zealanders will be happy that their man has progressed to the final too, but he will have a challenge, there is no doubt. There's where it all changed about.
Yeah, Zdanov definitely got an advantage, because his two arms, his balance, he was getting into a nice rhythm on the breaststroke, where it was a lot harder for Cameron to get hold of any water on breaststroke.
You see Cameron Leslie digging in there at the end, just trying to get back on terms with Zdanov, but Roman Zdanov takes that one. Championship record, 2:28.91. Very quick heat swim ahead of Cameron Leslie and Jin Jipeng from China. The women's 150 metres individual medley, SM4. There's the lineup for heat number 1. Again, this is a combined heat. We have some SM3 swimmers and some SM4 swimmers. Maria Lafina from Ukraine, the SM4 competitor, in the fast lane in lane number 4. Some of the swimmers coming in from the side. We shall see again difference in starting techniques here.
Dutch, just Tunisian being the only one being held by her feet. Similarly is Zia from China, but that's because they're both SM3 swimmers.
Stefina, Carolina Hamer using that band there at the start. Again, as you said, the coaches can hold the swimmers in position, but they cannot add propulsion there at the start. Can't push the swimmer away.
No, I think everybody would be employing that start if they could. There's a great backstroke start there. And they're all pretty, it's a bit of an even spread. We've got lane 1 going well, Sonia Seguatore, and she will look to be sticking with them, because she is an SM4 swimmer on the outside lanes. The breaststroke again, there will be a very telling leg in this race.
Well, Lisette Tennyson has started very well in lane number 6. And watch out for her. She had a great swim yesterday in the 100, world record swim, in fact, in the 100 freestyle for the S3 class. She's leading all the S4s here. Nelly Miranda Herrera next to her, also a world record breaker last night in the 50 freestyle. So she is in touch on the freestyle leg. Watch out for her. But Maria Lafina from Ukraine has the fastest entry time by some way.
Yeah, and she's definitely got the quickest breaststroke too, and she's already made up some considerable ground and she's pulling away. But if she's anything like a lot of breaststrokers, then her freestyle, she'll need to hold on for dear life.
Well, we'll see if that happens in the closing stages of this race, because she has got the 50 freestyle world record holder right next to her in lane number 4. I say right next to her, in the lane next to her, I should say, because she is something like 3 or 4 meters down at the moment. It's a good breaststroke swim here from Maria Lafina from Ukraine. And she is opening up a gap of, something like 5 or 6 seconds, I think, by the time they get to the finish here, if not more.
Yeah, she will have done enough to allow herself to have quite a relaxed final 50 metres freestyle, which would be good, because in a race like this, you want to save as much as you can for the evening. Well,
this again is in the classification, the lower numerical classifications. S1 to S4 class, and I think Maria Lafina is going to take this one. Not sure if Nelly Miranda Herrera can pull back that deficit. The Mexican swimmer. I haven't heard the Mexican tenor shouting for his swimmer this time.
No, he looks like he's busy burrowing away into his laptop, so he's probably sending results home already.
Maybe he's tweeting.
Maybe. I'll keep checking, shall I?
That's good, Liz, yeah. Here we go. It is Maria Lafina coming into the finish here. It's going to be a good time, a very good time indeed. 3:06.7, and that was a good improvement on her entry time there. Well, scoreboard here in the venue has just gone black. That's not a good sign. Maria Lafina, according to our timing that we have on our screens here, 3:06.7, ahead of Nelly Miranda Herrera and Lisette Tennyson. They are the top 3 from that heat, but not a good sign when the scoreboard goes blank like that.
Not ideal. You hear the crowd getting a bit rowdy if they don't fix that soon.
That's the last thing we want, a rowdy crowd here in Glasgow. Well, the final swimmer here is in lane number 1, Sonia Sigurdardottir.
And that really shows just how telling the breaststroke can be in an individual medley race, because she was right up with the leaders in the backstroke.
Yeah, it's a real combination of strengths. If you can equalise your strengths over this individual medley, minimise your weaknesses, I suppose, is the main thing.
I think that's more what it's about. It's actually making sure that your worst stroke is as close to your best stroke as it can be, rather than making your better stroke better, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
To someone, somewhere.
Here she comes in. She had an entry time of 4:42. I'm not sure if she is going to challenge that one. 4:57 this time for Sigurdardottir. Lafina will take that one down. It's 3:06.72 was the final time for Lafina. We do have the scoreboard back, so that will please the crowd. No more rowdiness.
It's always nice to know what time a swimmer has done when they touch the wall.
Just looking at the results that we have on our screens there. Lafina takes it 3:06. Nelly Miranda Herrera takes the second position, but a new America's region record, and third place Lizette Turnison from the Netherlands. But there is Lafina, just great breaststroke, took her ahead, and the freestyle, she was clear at the end. You see the impairment in the hand there as she hits the wall.
Yeah, these swimmers will have a relatively severe impairment in all 4 limbs.
Lafina takes that first heat, but it is an America's record for Nelly Miranda Herrera in second, and a new Asian record for Chia Jingbo in fifth. Heat number 2 of the women's 150 metres individual medley in the SM4 class. Again, it's a combined classes here, SM3 and SM4. Olga Zviderska in 3 is the world record holder, but the favourite, Ariola Trimmi, goes in lane number 4 for Italy. There is Catalina, held at the start there. You do see the difference in starting techniques between the S3s and the S4.
Yeah, and that's the biggest telling side really, is a lot of them will have such an impairment in their hands that they just don't have the ability to hold onto the block, or if they did manage to hook their hands onto the block, they wouldn't actually be able to get them off when the starting gun went. And even now, once we're away, we can see a different backstroke technique. Some people employ the double arm technique, where your head does submerge under the water at every stroke, but the power that you can get from that double arm pull is a lot more than if you've got poor coordination and you're doing it single arm.
It's the 2 double arm backstrokers in the lead, ahead of one of the single arm backstrokers. That's Verbova from Ukraine. He's going to be first into the turn here, 53.70. And Ariola Trimmi looks like she may well be in second, just about in second, ahead of Olga Zviderska. So Zviderska, the world record holder in the SM3 class, but there is Verbova on the breaststroke, but it does look like Trimmi has got a stronger breaststroke. Unusual breaststroke there, breathing to the side.
Yeah, she's breathing. A lot of butterfly swimmers tend to do that, to keep themselves flatter in the water. And if you can manage to pull it off without losing the symmetry in your stroke, then that's fine. But if you lose the symmetry in a stroke, then you will get disqualified. And here we can see her pulling it off perfectly, and it's keeping her flat because she doesn't have any use of her legs, so she's trying to minimise the amount of drag that her body position is causing. Very successfully, it would seem, because she's catching up, and we know that she, from previous evenings here, that she's got a great freestyle to rely on down the last 50 metres.
Also a good breaststroke leg from Natalia Gavrilyuk from Russia, coming now challenging for the lead here. Verbova has done a good job to hold on to the breaststroke after a good backstroke leg. Gavrilyuk does take the lead, very slender lead, but watch out for the freestyler of Ariola Trimmi from Italy.
Here she comes. The great high elbows, and she's got such... She will have worked really hard on keeping that body position as flat as she can, as I said, with her breaststroke. And you've got to think a little bit outside the box, because she won't have the ability to train her core muscles, which is what most swimmers would rely on higher up the classification system to make sure that their legs don't drop in the water.
Here she comes. The freestyle has been absolute procession here for Ariola Trimmi. She's just, we keep saying this, she's a great technician, and it's just a pleasure to watch Ariola Trimmi swim in the freestyle events. We saw her be beaten in the sprints by the power athlete, but when you get to the distance like this one, Ariola Trimmi just really comes into her own. She wins it in 3:07.08, and Olga Zviderska following her in lane number 5, also a strong freestyler, 3:12.72, and it's a new world record for the SM3 class for Olga Zviderska in lane number 5, and a great swim from the Ukrainian swimmer in 5.
Absolutely, and it's always a bonus when you get a world record in a morning swim, and she will definitely have been pulled along by the fact that she's having to swim upper class with the more able swimmers.
Yeah, it is a combined event, so that maybe benefited Olga Zwiderska there, just chasing Arioli Trimi. Zwiderska wasn't really in the picture until she came to the freestyle, but the freestyle leg, again, a great freestyler, Zwiderska, and she got in 3:12.72. Massive world record for Zwiderska in her classification.
There's your winner, though, Ariola Trimi. And the thing with these combined events is actually it doesn't matter. There's no point system. She will be the first in the world, so she will be going in fastest for this evening.
There's Olga Zwiderska. Well, she'll be quite happy when she sees that time in 3:12.72. She would be absolutely delighted. But as you say, Liz, it's just one medal on offer for this one. It's first past the post here. It's unfortunate for Olga Zwiderska. She has to swim up against the higher classification.
This is the breaststroke again, and I think it's such an interesting stroke, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more people in the lower classifications starting to adopt this, because it definitely makes her body position better and gives her the energy and the efficiency to then turn onto the freestyle and just pull away like we can see in this shot.
We quite often see that at the major championship, don't we? You see one of the swimmers with a certain disability just come along and do something a little bit different, and some of the coaches from the other countries say that, oh, I might try that. There is the final result for Heat 2 of the women's 150 metres individual medley SM4. Ariola Trimi wins the heat, but it's a world record in the SM3 class for Olga Zwiderska of Ukraine. Progressing to the final this evening, Maria Lafina from Ukraine will be fastest, ahead of Trimi and Zwiderska in second and third position. The men's 200 freestyle S14 classification. There's the lineup for heat number 1. In that dark tunnel there, coming out into the arena. Charlotte Henshaw said you get a great effect when you come out there, out of the dark and into the light. She said she really enjoyed coming out of that centre tunnel.
Yeah, they've really tried to make it more of an arena over the last 3 or 4 years in Paralympic World Championship swimming, and it makes you feel like you're coming into the boxing ring and you're ready for the fight.
Daniel Fox from Australia, world champion there from 2013. He's the Commonwealth champion too, right here in Glasgow a year ago at the Commonwealth Games. And next to him, Tang Wai Lok from Hong Kong. I don't often see Hong Kong competing on the international stage, but they are a separate nation when they come to the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, and they've got quite a good history of participation in the S14 classification, and these boys will look for them all to go out to 50 pretty much together, and then Daniel Fox will look to pull away.
Well, we do have the champion from 2 days ago in the breaststroke, Mark Avers, taking the start in lane number 7. Not one of his target events here at these championships, Mark Avers. And we'll go again later in the week in the 200 individual medley and in the 100 backstroke. So Avers in 7, but he's being headed now. Lee In Cook from Korea in lane 3, and Daniel Fox in lane 4 from Australia. This is the S14 class, swimmers with an intellectual impairment.
Yes, so these swimmers will have issues with different things, so they won't all have the same impairment. So a lot of them will struggle with retaining information. So throughout a training session, they have to be reminded over and over and over again of their technique.
And we have seen in previous swimmers, one of the Great Britain swimmers, Ben Proctor, had real issues with pacing a 200 freestyle.
Yes, really in training, Ben used to have to be told that if he was going fast, just to go as fast as you can, but if you wanted him to go at varying different paces, you had to put him in a lane with a lower classification swimmer and just stick with these. And it can be a real issue on an event like 200 freestyle.
Ben Proctor used to go out really fast, but then pay for that in the closing stages. But Daniel Fox looking pretty good at the moment, the Australian. That is very fast 150 for Daniel Fox as he hit the front there. Keep an eye on the clock. It's not going to be a world record time. It's going to be under 2 minutes though. 158.89 for Daniel Fox. He looked very good there, very powerful. Lee In-Cook, he looked good too. And he was 2 minutes .41, and it was Kuliabin from Russia in third place. But Daniel Fox, he's made sure of his place in the final, and he will be a contender of that, there's no doubt. So there's Kuliabin, third position. There's Daniel Fox. Ready. I'll be pleased with that one indeed.
Great start from him here, great streamline and making the use of the dolphin kicks underwater, and that gave him great propulsion to get up into his stroke. He will have just been watching here and making sure the S14 swimmers, they get a lot from being ahead and touching the wall first. They swim a lot of confidence, and that he'll be happy to have got his hand on the wall first.
Look pretty powerful there. Daniel Fox, 158.89. Daniel Fox takes that first heat ahead of Lee In-Cook and Mikhail Kuliabin. Heat number 2 of the men's 200 freestyle S14. There is the lineup. The world record holder and the Paralympic champion goes in this one. The big hope for Iceland, John Margeir Sverrisson. He has been in great form this year. Set the world record in Berlin in April. We also saw him swim here in Glasgow at the British International, and he was in cracking form. He goes in lane number 4. Emeliantsev off to a good start. The Russian in lane number 3. Thomas Hamer back in the pool where he won his Commonwealth Games silver medal last year. He is going well in lane number 5.
This is one of Thomas Hamer's favourite pools. He came on leaps and bounds at last year's Commonwealth Games trials in all of his events, and he's really grown. He's still just a teenager, but he's really matured and his body's developing and he's getting stronger, and we're seeing that he's learning how to race these more experienced guys.
Well, Emeliantsev has gone off at a cracking pace here. We saw him do that in the breaststroke event the other day, and he did pay for it in the later stages. I wonder if we're going to see the same again. It's the 16-year-old from Great Britain, Thomas Hamer, in second position, ahead of the world record holder at the moment. But John Margeir Sverrisson is very strong in the closing stages. But Emeliantsev still looking pretty good at the front of the field.
He is definitely, but as you mentioned before, that's how Ben Proctor, who was a very good S14 200 freestyle swimmer, used to swim, and he always used to pay for it in that last 50 metres, well, last 25 metres especially. Sometimes these S14 swimmers, they just know how to go fast or slow. And if it works for you, if you can hold on. But Thomas Hamer is coming back on a bit of a charge, which will lead him to a good time.
Well, Emeliantsev is a second and a half inside world record pace with 50 metres to go here. We'll keep an eye on the clock here. This is a big shot here in the S14 200 freestyle. The world record stands at 156.94. I think it's got to go, surely. It's 156.27. Emeliantsev, well, he didn't tie up. And it's a new world record for the Russian.
That's a cracking swim there, and that will have taken the other boys a bit by surprise because they weren't hanging around, but they won't have been expecting a 2 body length lead going into the final 50 metres.
Well, we did see him in the breaststroke go out and pay for it severely in the closing stages. He didn't that time, and tonight I think they are going to have to be a lot closer to the Russian if anyone is going to challenge him. Emeliantsev takes it. Thomas Hamer in second in 1:59.24, and in third place it was the world record holder, 2 minutes .52. He will go to the final, and expect him to be a little bit faster, but will he be able to live with the pace of Emeliantsev?
Well, Thomas Hamer turned his legs on to try and catch a supreme stroke from the Russian with about 75 metres to go, but it wasn't quite enough.
Thomas Hamer finishes there, looks across. I can't quite believe it that Emeliantsev is still there. I think you talk about leaving everything in the pool, Liz.
He struggled to get out of the water then, didn't he?
Wow, if he can repeat that tonight, this is going to be a great final. The result yet to be confirmed, but these are unofficial. But unofficially, Sverrisson, the world record holder, ties with Cho Won-sang for third. Hamer in second. A new world record for Emeliantsev in first position. There are the swimmers who progress to the finals this evening. Emeliantsev, first position. We are on to the one and only heat of the women's 200 freestyle. We have Tu Jolin from Taipei in lane 0. Michelle Alonso Morales from Spain in 1. Pernilla Lindberg, Sweden in 2. Marlo van der Kolk from Netherlands in 3. Valeria Shabalina, the world record holder, in lane number 4 from Russia. Jessica Jane Applegate from Great Britain in 5. Taylor Corrie in 6 from Australia. Michelle Franson in 7 from Belgium. And Kolbrun Stefansdottir in 8 from Iceland. Well, I did say that Shabalina was the world record holder, but I'm not sure if the record time by Bethany Firth, just set a month ago, has been ratified yet. But that was very slightly faster than Shabalina's time that she did there. Of course, Bethany Firth not at these championships because of injury.
Yeah, Bethany Firth swam in this meet in this very pool 2.5 weeks ago, and swam a 2:06 low to go slightly faster than the listed world record. But then 2 days later in training, actually had an injury and broke her wrist, so she's not here. But thankfully, the Great British hopes will be carried strongly by Jessica Jane Applegate.
Well, Shabalina leads 101.24, obviously inspired by her countrymate in that previous heat, Emeliantsev. She's gone out fast, and she leads. Jessica Jane Applegate, the Paralympic champion. Of course, Jessica Jane is renowned for her fast finish in the 200 freestyle.
Yeah, she's very comfortable chasing the leader down, and they've only got to lose one swimmer from this heat to get into the finals. So they will have been briefed by their coaches not to go and put everything in this morning, because they're going to have a battle on their hands tonight.
Jessica Jane Applegate looks comfortable. Shabalina looks comfortable too. We'll keep an eye on the clock. I'm not sure if they are going to challenge the record time. It's not going to be. They are going to challenge the record time. Well, goodness. I better just be quiet in future. It's another world record for Shabalina, 2:05.99, and that is faster than Bethany Firth's time, so there's no doubt about that world record. 2:05.99 for Shabalina. Second place, Jessica Jane Applegate. Great swim, 2:07.10.
That's a brilliant time for Jessica Jane, and as we said, she loves to chase, and it really took her to a fast time, because she's really had to move it on this year, because there's the winner. She'll be happy with the world record, but she didn't even look like she was going as fast as she could, so maybe there'll be a bit more in there tonight.
Well, it certainly caught me off guard anyway. But Jessica Jane Applegate in second position. She'll be pleased with her swim. It was Taylor Corrie from Australia in third position in 2:14.24. But what about that swim? Valeria Shabalina, she wasn't really on record pace all the way down there. She was just slightly off the world record splits, but coming back on that last 50, She must have just motored there, and a good finish. And that's what got her the record there. Fantastic.
She looking happy. She may have caught a glimpse of Jessica Jane making the charge down that final 50 as well.
Valeria Shabalina sets a new world record in the heat of the 200 freestyle for the S14 women. 2:05.99 ahead of Applegate and Corrie. We move to the scoreboard end of the pool for the first heat of the men's 50 metres butterfly S6.
Sasha Kindred going to get his campaign underway this morning at his 7th World Championships.
7 World Championships. Is it his 8th if you count the World Short Course Championships?
Well, I guess it is.
I'm sure Sasha will count it. There he is, experienced man. The only man to have swum in all 7 World Championships. Nelson Crispin in lane number 4. Taliesin Glock with the luminous cap of Brazil in 3. Sasha Kindred goes in lane number 5.
Great underwater there from Simonenko, and that'll be because of his dolphin leg kick, but we'll look for the other guys to start catching him as they have done at the 25-metre mark.
Well, Nelson Crispin is going out well here ahead of Taliesin Glock. Sasha Kindred looking pretty comfortable too, maybe coming through for second position. Sasha Kindred, he's not going to catch Nelson Crispin, no. 32.09 for Nelson Crispin. He's in great form here, and that is a new record for the Americas region for Nelson Crispin. Sasha Kindred in second, 32.97, and Taliesin Glock in third, 33.19. But Nelson Crispin looking good.
Yeah, great form coming in on the back of his silver medal last night in the 100-metre breaststroke. Sasha will be happy with that for a morning swim, and Taliesin's looking pretty relaxed too.
There is Nelson Crispin there. We got off to a good start. Sasha Kindred also good off the block. Simonenko using his power underwater though.
He really kept his head down into the finish, and that will have helped him finish on a full stroke, finish at good speed, because you don't know what Sasha Kindred was doing in the next lane.
Nelson Crispin breaks his own America's record to take that first heat ahead of Sasha Kindred and Taliesin Glock. The start list for heat number 2 of the men's 50 metres butterfly S6. 2 Chinese swimmers who will probably dominate this one. Zheng Tao and Su Qing, all swimming with, well, Zheng Tao certainly swimming with no arms. Su Qing, I do like to see him swimming in lane number 5. Man who's been described as like a windmill stroke here. Absolutely fantastic to watch.
They always have a great start, the 2 Chinese guys, and they've got a reputation in both the men's and women's S6 fly. And look, they're away already, and he's spinning that arm around. He definitely gets something from it, or he wouldn't waste the energy using it.
This is a great display here. Look at this, Zheng Tao. Is he going to breathe at all? We'll keep an eye on that. This is a great display of swimming with no arms. 1 breath, I think, as he comes through. Maybe 2 there as he comes in. Just struggling to hold it, but a very good performance there for Zheng Tao from China. 31.71 ahead of his countrymate Zhu Qing. 33.40, and Klyagin from Russia in 3rd spot. Well, Zheng Tao, how many breaths was that, Liz?
2 I counted.
2 that I noticed
One
as
at
well.
the 25-metre mark, and then 1 just after the 15 to go.
Well, that is very, very tough to do. There's Klyagin, he's in 3rd position. 31.71 for the winner, Zheng Tao. But it's great to see these guys, these swimmers with no arms, how they adapt to the strokes.
Yeah, and Zheng Tao there really maximising the use he has of his abdominal muscles and actually using a much narrower fly kick than you would expect that would be taught in a normal swimming lesson to allow him to have a higher frequency.
That can't be easy to finish on your head there.
Not at that speed.
Zheng Tao takes that second heat of the 50 butterfly S6 ahead of his countrymate Zhu Qing, Klagen in third. Zheng Tao will be fastest into the final this evening ahead of Nelson Crispin and Sasha Kindred. Heat 1 for the women's 50 butterfly in the S6 classification. We see the reappearance of the breaststroke champion from last night, Tiffany Thomas-Kane from Australia. What can she do, the young 13-year-old?
Well, we saw what she could do last night, and I'm sure that will just give her even more confidence. She's coming into this meet in fine form.
Well, from the start list there, she was ranked in second position, so going into these championships, this is probably her #1 event.
Yeah, for sure. She's just been doing best times every time she's got in the water, and worryingly, 100 breaststroke on rankings was the lowest rank that she was in, so who knows what she's got in her armoury today.
Now we are about to find out here. Entry time of 38.83. Let's see if she can improve on that. There is a 13-year-old champion from last night.
She actually had a really good start there. Quite often you see the shorter athletes have to make up a lot of ground, but she's up and straight into the lead. And she's swimming, well, she doesn't look like she doesn't swim like a 13-year-old, does she?
Showed a lot of maturity last night there. She's been challenged by Mantilano from Mexico in the lane, just 2 lanes up now, but Tiffany Thomas-Kane is going to go away in the closing stages here. It's 38.39.06. It's an oceanic record, another improvement on her times. In fact, it was Nicole Turner. Sorry, the Irish, I'm doing you a little bit of a disservice. I thought it was the Mexican there, but it was Nicole Turner, in fact, who got in for second place. Another youngster, another 13-year-old who has swum very well at these championships. And there is Nicole Turner, and she will be delighted with that one.
And it's great that young athletes like Nicole are getting the exposure at the World Championships here, so that if they do keep improving and end up finding themselves in Rio 2016, then they'll be ready for the arena that they'll be competing in.
Nicole Turner finishes in a 40.14, but that is textbook butterfly there. That's fantastic at the front of that stroke. Not really finishing on a full stroke. She's got a little bit more to come, but she won't worry about that at all. Tiffany Thomas-Kane takes that heat in a new oceanic record at 39.06, ahead of Ireland's Nicole Turner and Elena Fedota of Ukraine. Heat number 2 of the women's 50 butterfly in the S6 class. Well, we saw Tiffany Thomas-Kane, the second fastest entry time. Oksana Krul has the fastest entry time. She has dominated this event for a number of years. Unbeaten since the World Championships in 2010. She's the world record holder. Set that record in the London Paralympic Games, 36.05. Another kind of unique style Oksana Krul has.
Yeah, and her and Anastasia Didorova having similar starts there. And we'll see a similar style from these first 3 athletes. Anastasia Didorova actually trains in the Olympic pool in Moscow, and she's come on massively she's always been around, but look at this. Oksana Krul has the benefit of using those arms, even though they don't work, to create a streamlined position and break the water so that it goes around her body.
And that gives her a little bit of an advantage at the finish too. Oksana Krul, she doesn't have to finish on her head, she finishes on those outstretched arms, and she finishes in a time of 38.13, in first position ahead of Lu Dong in second position, 39.96, and Diodorova in third, 40.86. So there is the Chinese swimmer there, and there is Diodorova in lane number 5, third position there in that heat. But a good swim from Oksana Krul, the world record holder, 38.13 for the Ukrainian, and she will be in a good position to try and retain her world title tonight, but she will have the youngsters to contend with in that final.
Yeah, she definitely benefits from being able to put those arms out in front, and when it comes down to a tight race, she'll always get the touch.
She is lifted out there effortlessly, it seems.
Yeah, out of the water, her arms really don't do a lot at all.
Oksana Krul wins that second heat, 38.13. Lu Dong from China, also under the 40-second mark. Oksana Krul is fastest into the final this evening. Tiffany Thomas-Kane in second position, Lu Dong in third, and young Nicole Turner, fourth place for Ireland. Well, there were the medal standings as we were after last night's finals. Russia and Ukraine are top with 7 golds apiece. USA close behind with 6. Australia in fourth position with 4 golds. Host of countries already claiming gold medals at these championships, but the host nation, not one of them so far. No golds for Great Britain, but big hopes for them for this evening's session. Well, Tollcross bathed in sunshine for this morning's heats. The swimmers will be back for the finals this evening. The finals kick off at 6 o'clock our local time here in Glasgow in the UK. We hope you can join us on the live stream to enjoy more action here from Tollcross. We will see you this evening.